Guys, I don't know what to say right now. Oh my God. What a finish. Oh my God. I'm speechless. I'm shaking. Ryan Blaney on a photo finish at Talladega. Did that just happen? Oh my God. And better yet, my fantasy team was solid and I might have just won $10,000. I've been shaking. The race has been over for about 20 minutes. And I still can't believe it. We're going to go over the full race analysis as best as I possibly can. I was at work during the race, so I was able to listen to it all, but I couldn't quite see every little bit of action that happened. But every time I was glancing over, it was crazy. So we're going to start off here. Obviously, Martin Truex Jr. on the pole for today's race. They actually ended up getting the entire race in. It didn't look like that was going to be the case because right towards the end of stage number 1, Tyler Reddick ended up actually having the lead at the time of a caution, and a caution that was due to rain. They had a little over a 1-hour red flag for a rain delay. The entire track did not completely get washed out, mainly just turns 1 and 2. So that was good. They were able to get the track dry, get the cars back on the track, and ultimately, despite the fact they were racing the rain, in case there was more coming most of the day, it kind of dispersed away from the racetrack. I guess the vortex theory kind of worked here. I don't necessarily believe in that, but nevertheless, again, they got the whole race in. So Tyler Reddick ended up actually going on to win stage 1 because of that caution. Came out a couple laps prior, so good for him. He scored a decent amount of stage points today. Of course, for the rookie, it's his first career stage win, so obviously first win in a stage this season. At the end of stage number 2, it was wild for about the last 20 laps or so. They were going 3 wide like crazy, like they were racing like it was the end of the race, because from about the halfway point on, they were racing like it was the end of the race, because it very well could have been. If it would have rained, that race would have been over. They would not have been able to dry the track and get the rest of the race in before darkness tonight, because it was closed as it was anyway. Photo finish there, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with a last lap pass for the win. A little foreshadowing of what might have happened later. He passed Blaney on the last lap, so great finish there overall. Stenhouse, he was one of my dark horse picks, and he was also one of the picks that I had in my lineup as well. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr. did a fantastic job all day today. Really never caused an accident. We got late in the race. There was an accident right at about the fuel window or so. There was a couple accidents. One towards the end of stage number 2, actually. John Hunter Nemechek had gone around for a spin. Pretty much no damage there. I think he was able to get back out on the track, no problem. There was a spin involving Chase Elliott towards the front of the field at the beginning of the 3rd stage, but only Elliott was involved. So very fortunate. Everybody was able to miss him there. So Elliott, of course, did not fare very well. He ended up DNFing in this race. Not a good finish, despite looking pretty strong and leading some laps periodically throughout the course of the race. He looked strong when he was out in front, as did Ryan Blaney. Blaney led the most laps in today's race as well. He led almost 60 laps, I think, by the time this race came to a conclusion. He might have very well led over 60 laps. That is a lot by Talladega standards, especially in today's age. Very impressive, and that's despite the fact that you were able to pass the leader and we had a lot of lead changes, about 40 lead changes by the end of the race, so that was insane as well. The whole race in a whole was insane. I'm going to rate it a 20 out of 10, a 200 out of 10, just because my favorite driver won and how crazy that finish was. Plus, there was no big one for the most part, unless you want to include that last lap coming to the finish, but even then, not too many cars were involved in that accident, just a couple. There was a little bit of a wreck going into turn 3 on the backstretch on the final lap of the race, and they stayed green to the finish. They were far enough back from the start-finish line. It didn't hinder who ended up winning, because Ryan Blaney was out in front of the field when they had wrecked, and Blaney still got the win anyway. So for those of you downplaying NASCAR, even if they would have threw the caution there in turn 3, Ryan Blaney still would have won the race. There would have been other positions behind him that could have changed, because I'm not sure, honestly. I haven't looked at the full length, last lap of the replay. Just a couple glimpses of that finish over and over again, a couple interviews after the race is pretty much all I've seen since the race has ended. Ryan Blaney gets the win, photo finish. I didn't even see the margin of victory yet. We're going to see that in a little bit when we go through the race results. But Ryan Blaney, photo finish. Eric Almirola was spinning across the start-finish line. He finished in third place, and he was practically 3 wide with the leaders spinning across the finish line. It all started. They were going through the tri-oval. Blaney was trying to block for dear life. Kurt Busch was giving Eric Jones one heck of a push. Blaney had no choice but to let the 20 get alongside of him. He was going to rub up against the 20, as he stated in his his post-race interview on the start-finish line. He said that he was going to come up and he was going to rub Eric Jones for the win. He did not realize they were 3 wide, so that's why when he rubbed up against Eric Jones, Jones handled it at first, but then there was just not enough room. He pinched the 1 car to the top side, which kind of T-boned Eric Jones into the wall. It still ended up with a top 10, obviously, because they were so close to the finish line. Stenhouse, with all that lost momentum from Blaney, took it to the inside of Ryan, a little side draft right at the finish, and came up just short. Even closer than the finish last year at Talladega. I thought this was an even better race. There was less on the line, though, for Ryan Blaney, for instance. He had to win to get into the next round last year when he won at Talladega. Obviously, with this being a regular season race, not as much at stake. He is in the playoffs now. 8 different winners in the first 13 races of the season. We still got another 13 before the playoffs, including 2 at Pocono on Saturday. So now we're going to go through the full race results and see how the fantasy team did here today. All right, so also forgot to kind of mention there at the end, this race finished in overtime, by the way. They completed 191 of the 188 laps, of course. And that last caution was due to Jimmy Johnson getting turned off the front bumper of Kevin Harvick. Harvick had a big run, tried to go in between him, in between Jimmy Johnson and Stenhouse for second place there. And there just wasn't enough room. He didn't back out of the gas, and obviously in that situation we've seen accidents like that before. But luckily, Johnson was the only guy involved again. Despite how aggressive the racing was today, it was so clean, and that is the best racing I love, especially when it comes to super speedway racing, is clean racing like we saw today, not many accidents, going 3-4 wide the entire time. This is arguably the best super speedway race, honestly, I've watched in a very long time. Again, I thought it was better than the race in the fall time. And again, Blaney won that race, so there's no biased opinion there. he won them both, so I can take my honest opinion on which one was better. I know this is heat of the moment, but still. So let's take a look at your top 10 who all DNF'd in this race. We didn't have many DNFs. Of course, Ryan Blaney got the win over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We're actually going to look here for a quick moment at the scoring timeline here. Try to find out how close of a finish that was. Because, again, I didn't actually see what the margin of victory was. Looking. Yeah, I can't find it right here. But that's okay. Come the end of this video, I'll post it in the comments section down below what the margin of victory was. So anyway, yep, Ryan Blaney with the win. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. second. Third place, Eric Almirola. Denny Hamlin fourth. Eric Jones fifth. Chris Buescher, solid run in sixth. He's been doing pretty quietly but good on these super speedway races. Alex Bowman seventh. John Hunter Nemechek came back to finish in the top 10 and 8th. By the way, I mentioned Eric Jones obviously caught up in that accident. Coming to the finish, still finished with the top 5. Of course, not the win he was hoping for. Kurt Busch, obviously, he was involved in that as well. He still finished in 9th, and Kevin Harvick actually fell back to 10th at the finish. But that's your top 10. Again, the only drivers that did not finish. Matt Kenseth had a problem with the rear hub earlier. He made a great save down the back straightaway. He DNF'd. Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott were both taken out in that same accident. Dillon barely clipped Elliott, but I guess it was enough damage to take him out of it. And Joey Gase, along with Brendan Poole, also DNF'd because of an accident there. Later in the race. That was the caution that came out right about where everybody was at the edge of the pit window with just over 40 laps left. Kyle Busch finished 32nd. Tough break there for him. Out of some notable finishers towards the back. Martin Truex Jr.'s string of bad luck continues at Talladega, finished 24th. So again, that adds on now in the last 8 races. His best finish at Talladega is 20th. So, ouch. Don't plan on putting him in the fantasy team come playoff time either. Now let's just take a look at how the fantasy team did, and warning, we did very well. Alright, so obviously we're still waiting on NASCAR to give out the exact official results to the finish. We obviously know who won the race and the couple positions leading after that. And sure enough, for us, we had the top 4 finishers in the starting lineup. Joey Logano finished 17th. He was the only downfall there. But Logano had 13 stage points, one of the most stage points all race long. So as far as points scored goes, our 5 drivers were all in the top 6. Only 10 bonus points because Ford got the win, obviously, with Blaney getting the win. My prediction, Joey Logano did not win, and Denny Hamlin did not win either of the 2 stages. So that's pretty much what we're looking at here. We scored 210 points, if I remember correctly. Let's look at the NASCAR Weekly Podcast League again. Number 1. It was $10,000 to win this week. Just putting that out there. But obviously, because if I don't get it, it's because we didn't get enough bonus points. But again, it's luck of the draw at Talladega, and boy, were we lucky today. We should move up in the overall standings regardless, though, so that's pretty solid. Ryan Blaney, again, there you see first, second, Stenhouse. And these are by the points scored, so that's why you see Bowman in third. But then we had fourth, fifth, and sixth with, of course, Hamlin, Logano, and actually Buescher was all tied for fifth there, and we had Logano and Hamlin. So that is going to be it here for this one. Again, I'll post the margin of victory down in the comments section below. Hit the subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this breakdown video. I'll be back for more. Of course, Pocono's got their double headers this week, and we got some more full race live streams on NASCAR Heat coming up this week as well. So definitely going to be a lot of fun. And also, I think I'm forgetting something. Oh, yeah, comment down below. What were your thoughts on the race? Again, I thought it was awesome. Arguably the most fun I've had watching a NASCAR race in a very long time. And I didn't even really physically watch most of it because I was at work. But again, I was able to catch the end of the race for the most part there. I got off of work with about 37 laps to go. So I was very in-depth in that portion of the race. So again, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.